إعلان مهم.
重要提示
Important announcement.
Message important.
Важное объявление.
Anuncio importante.
يرجى من المتحدثين الكرام إلقاء بياناتهم بسرعة معقولة لضمان ترجمة فورية وافية وعالية الجودة.
为了帮助口译准确完整传递发言信息，请代表发言时语速不要过快。
Speakers are kindly reminded to deliver their statements at a reasonable pace to ensure complete and quality interpretation.
Il est rappelé aux orateurs qu'ils doivent présenter leur déclaration à un rythme raisonnable afin de garantir une interprétation complète et de qualité.
Напоминаем ораторам, что для обеспечения полного и качественного устного перевода необходимо выступать в умеренном темпе.
Se ruega a los oradores que pronuncien sus declaraciones a un ritmo razonable para garantizar una interpretación íntegra y de calidad.
Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, I declare open the 43rd meeting of the 60th session of the Human Rights Council. We will continue the consideration of draft resolutions and decisions, and I have been informed that the resolutions that are ready to be considered during this meeting will appear on the screen. There we have it. Any impact on the budget and program is available on the extranet.
Finished yesterday while we were considering L21 Ref 9. Basically, we finished the speakers list for general comments. I still ask you, is there any delegation asking the floor for general comments on this? I see the distinguished representative of Algeria.
Thank you, Chair. My delegation is pleased to take the floor in support of the draft resolution 29 Rev 1. As a country with a long history of anti-colonial struggle, Algeria remains deeply committed to the fight against racism and all forms of racial discrimination. The Durban Declaration and Programme of Action represent a landmark international framework that provides a comprehensive roadmap to address the root causes and contemporary manifestation of racism and racial injustice. Algeria reiterates its firm support to the DDPA, and for all mechanisms established to ensure its effective implementation. We believe that the legacy of slavery, colonialism, apartheid, and foreign occupation continues to have profound impacts on communities around the world. Addressing these injustices through truth, accountability, reparation, and genuine international solidarity is not only a moral imperative, but also a cornerstone of peace, justice, and sustainable development. In this regard, Algeria strongly supports the focus on the issue of reparation. We believe that reparative justice is a vital component of acknowledging historical wrongs and restoring dignity to the victims and their descendants. We recall that the African Union has declared the year 2025 as the African Union theme of the Year of Justice through Reparation, which reflects the growing momentum across the global South to advance concrete action on reparation for colonialism, slavery, and systemic racial discrimination. Mr. President, the rise of xenophobia, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, racism, and discrimination against migrants and persons of African descent is a growing concern in many parts of the world. Algeria believes the Human Rights Council has a critical responsibility to ensure that these issues remain at the forefront of its agenda and to support states in implementing anti-discrimination measures in line with their international obligation. In conclusion, Algeria strongly supports draft resolution L29/Rev1 and calls on all members of this council to adopt it by consensus as a reaffirmation of our collective commitment to a world free of racism, intolerance, and injustice. I thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of South Africa.
Thank you, Mr. President. South Africa welcomes the consideration of draft resolution L29-Rev1 from rhetoric to reality, a global call for concrete action against racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance. My delegation fully supports the view expressed by the African group in this council yesterday that convergence on the anti-racism agenda will send a strong signal of a renewed sense of commitment in the fight against racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance. We note that the first time this initiative was adopted by consensus was in 2019, and we now stand on the cusp of a historic second moment of adopting this resolution by consensus, which we hope will not be the last time. The adoption by consensus of this resolution will be significant as we mark the 60th anniversary of ISIS and stand on the eve of the 25th anniversary of the DDPA. We wish to reiterate the importance of the full and effective implementation of this international framework, as well as resolutions previously adopted by this Council and the General Assembly on racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance. A critical aspect of this is the imperative for reparations and reparatory justice for Africans and people of African descent, which must go beyond rhetoric to concrete global action, including adherence to the previous commitments made for the full and effective implementation of the DDPA. Africans and people of African descent, victims of slavery, colonialism, and apartheid deserve recognition, justice, and development in line with the commitment made to them when we adopted the program of activity of the decade and proclaimed the second international decade in December 2024 to promote equality and non-discrimination around the world. It is therefore fitting that the African Union has declared 2025 as the year of justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. In this context, South Africa fully supports the call on states and regions to work with the AU to identify and fulfill their responsibilities concerning reparations for slavery and colonialism. As I conclude, Mr. President, South Africa joins the appeal to members of this Council to adopt this resolution by consensus. I thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other requests for the floor to make general comments. I have been informed by the Secretariat that there are PBIs for this draft proposal. The PBIs amount to a total of $582,300. Of this amount, $342,800 have already been included under the program budget for the relevant years. $239,500 will need to be added to the budget.
Colombia, no. Cyprus, Côte d'Ivoire, no. Yet, Côte d'Ivoire.
Okay, Cyprus.
Cyprus, no. Czechia, no. DRC,
One second.
Costa Rica, Democratic Republic of Congo. Abstention. Dominican Republic.
Abstención.
Yeah, I need. Ethiopia. France. Gambia. Georgia. No. Germany. Ghana, Ghana, sorry.
Yes.
Iceland,
No.
no. Indonesia, Japan, no. Kenya, yes. Kuwait, yes. Kyrgyzstan, abstention. Malawi, abstention. Maldives, Marshall Islands, no. Mexico, no. Morocco, Netherlands, no. North Macedonia,
No.
no. Qatar,
Yes.
yes. Republic of Korea, no. Romania,
No.
South Africa, no, no. Spain, no. Sudan, yes. Switzerland, no. Thailand, no. Vietnam, abstention. Thank you, Mr. President. Could you please give us 1 second to come? Thank you.
Maybe a little more. Okay, sorry for the time. We didn't practice this. The result of is it a recorded vote? Yeah, manually recorded vote is as follows: 13 in favor, 27 against, 6 abstentions. Amendment L4 is therefore rejected. Amendment L40, sorry, is therefore rejected. We will now proceed to take action on Amendment L41. I'll give the floor to Council members for explanations of votes before the vote on draft Amendment L41. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Mexico.
Gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mexico rejects Amendment L41, which seeks to eliminate or weaken references to sexual comprehensive education. Comprehensive sexual education is an internationally recognized tool developed by UN agencies, and it is a key component to securing the right to health, education, and gender equality. It is a non-ideological educational approach that is scientific evidence-based and not on misinformation, developed to be age and appropriate for the development of boys, girls, and adolescents. And in each stage, there are different contents that are adopted to their cognitive and emotional development level. Additionally, it contributes to preventing gender violence by promoting equal behavior and an understanding of consent from very early ages. This is essential, seeing that 1 out of every 4 adolescents has experienced violence in couples' relationships, high pregnancy rates among teenagers, particularly in developing countries, and that preventable maternal mortality continues to be one of the main causes of death among young people, girls. According to UNESCO, Mr. President, over 100 countries have already included comprehensive sexual education in their national educational systems, of course, adapted to their cultural specificities, and that is the case of our country. The Committee on the Rights of the Child, for their part, in General Comment number 20, has highlighted that adolescents have the right to have access to information, education, and confidential services tailored to their needs in the area of sexual and reproductive health, without requiring their parents' or guardians' consent. Doing away with references to comprehensive sexual education, as Amendment L41 tries to do, would be to throw decades of progress and evidence into the trash bin, because this is an essential tool for the protection of rights and the prevention of maternal mortality. Mexico will vote against this amendment and calls on other states of this council to reject it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of the Netherlands.
Thank you, Mr. President. Comprehensive sexual education, CSE, is a proven life-saving tool. Extensive research confirms that CSE significantly reduces maternal mortality and morbidity by equipping people with knowledge to make informed decisions about their bodies, health, and rights. It delays initiation of sexual intercourse, increases contraceptive use, and prevents unintended pregnancies and unsafe abortions, key drivers of preventable maternal death. But CSE does more than protect physical health. It fosters resilience against gender-based violence, promotes bodily autonomy, and strengthens young people's ability to seek essential health care. Tailored to age-appropriate information, it addresses not only biology, but also consent, relationships, and emotional well-being, topics that are critical for women's empowerment, yet often neglected. The evidence is unequivocal. Removing CSE undermines public health, human rights, and gender equality. It contradicts commitments under international frameworks, including the ICPD Programme of Action and the Sustainable Development Goals. The Kingdom of the Netherlands will therefore vote against the amendment seeking to remove CSE from this resolution. And the Netherlands urges all Council members to do the same and stand with us in upholding a right that protects lives and empowers future generations. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other request for the floor. At the request of the delegation of Colombia, the Council will now proceed to a recorded vote on L41. Let me give you the details on the status of the machine. The situation is the following. The machine needs a reboot. If we reboot, we need also to reboot the whole sound system. So we cannot just continue while they reboot in the back. Because we already started voting, we cannot interrupt. We need to continue voting, which means we will continue doing this by roll call until we are done with this draft proposal, and then can break for lunch, and hopefully we'll get the machine back on track. So we will now vote on L41. Again, by roll call. I apologize for the complications, and I give the floor to the Secretariat again.
Thank you, Excellency, Mr. President. So now we're going to do roll call. I call the members of the Council by English alphabetical. Yes or no or abstention. I try to go slowly, as clear as possible, so everybody can hear. Albania. No. Algeria. Yes. Bangladesh. Yes. Belgium.
Say no.
No. Benin. No. Bolivia. No. Brazil. No. Bulgaria. No. Burundi. Abstention. Chile. No. China. China. Doesn't work. Yes. Colombia. No. Costa Rica.
No.
No. Côte d'Ivoire. Abstention. Cuba. Abstains. Cyprus. No. Czechia.
Say no.
No. DRC. Abstention. Dominican Republic. Abstention. Ethiopia. Yes. France. No. Gambia. Yes. Georgia. No. Germany. No. Ghana. Yes. Iceland. No. Indonesia. Yes. Japan. No. Kenya. Yes. Kuwait. Yes. Kyrgyzstan. Abstention. Malawi. Abstention. Maldives. Yes. Marshall Islands. No. Mexico. No. Morocco. Yes. Netherlands. No. North Macedonia. No. Qatar. Yes. Republic of Korea. No. Romania. No. South Africa. No. Spain. No. Sudan. Yes. Switzerland. No. Thailand. No. Vietnam. Abstention. Abstention 7.
The results of the recorded votes are as follow: 13 in favor, 26 against, 7 abstentions. Amendment L41 is therefore rejected. Yes. Of the results of the votes will shortly be posted on the extranet. We will now proceed to take action on Amendment L42. I give the floor to Council members for explanations of votes before the vote on draft Amendment L42. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Belgium.
Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you. Belgium supports the text as drafted by the core group, and we reject Amendment L42, which proposed removing references to health and sexual reproductive rights throughout the text. Many women and girls die across the world from complications related to pregnancy or birth. That is unacceptable. While these deaths are preventable most of the time, health and sexual reproductive rights guarantee for women and girls access to training and quality health services, but also autonomously choosing for themselves about their body and their reproductive life. Being able to choose when, with whom, and when to have sexual relations, children, or to get married is not a privilege, it is a right. Health and sexual reproductive rights also involve the right to be informed and having access to safe, effective, affordable family planning methods, and the right to have access to the right health services that allow women to complete their pregnancy in safety. When these rights are rejected or not accessible to them, women face increased risks. According to the World Health Organization, between 4.7% and 13.2% of maternal deaths are related to unsafe abortions, that is, abortions practiced by an unqualified individual or in a setting that does not meet minimal medical standards. Additionally, health and sexual and reproductive rights are an essential prevention tool to combat gender-based violence, such as child marriage, early and forced marriage, sexual violence, and female genital mutilation. All of them are related to higher maternal mortality and morbidity. Given that it takes on the root causes of maternal mortality and morbidity, health and sexual and reproductive rights are obviously a key component of any discussion about the topic. It's not just a matter of a medical issue, but what is at stake here is human dignity for all women and girls, which is why we will vote against Amendment L42, and we call on all members of the Council to vote likewise. Thank you.
I don't see any other requests. Sorry, I give the floor to the distinguished representative for Spain.
Gracias, señor presidente.
Thank you. Spain rejects Amendment L42, which seeks to weaken references to health and sexual and reproductive rights, including Draft Resolution L20 Rev 1. Having these rights affects the very core of the resolution, which seeks to combat maternal mortality with a human rights-based approach, given that these deaths, as we all know, are preventable, avoidable. Over 30 years ago already in Cairo, the international community recognized sexual and reproductive health and reproductive rights and the empowerment of women and girls as pillars of sustainable development. Paragraph 7.3 of the Program of Action of the International Conference on the Production and Development said that health and sexual and reproductive rights are not a new category of rights. Rather, they are part and parcel with universal human rights. However, given a virulent reaction which challenges everyone in the world, the equality and the autonomy of women and their freedom in deciding about their own lives, their own bodies, Spain reiterates its commitment with these rights. Progress in reducing maternal mortality has stagnated, and we are far from reaching the goal we set in SDG 3. Developing countries bear disproportionately the burden of maternal death. Sexual and reproductive health rights try to narrow this gap through special policies and accessible services. To ensure that women can decide when or when not to have children, with whom and how, is essential in avoiding forced pregnancy or risky pregnancies, unsafe abortion, and maternal mortality, as the World Health Organization has stated. It should be recalled that the terminology of health and sexual and reproductive rights is enshrined in resolutions of this Council adopted by consensus with broad support from delegations, as is the case of Resolution 56/20 on HIV/AIDS and Resolution 59/20 on violence against women and girls. Spain will continue to strive nationally and internationally to promote sexual and reproductive rights and include them in our cooperation policy and in efforts to ensure we have universal health coverage, which is why Spain will vote against Amendment L42 and urges members of the Council to also do so. Thank you.
Thank you. At the request of the delegation of Colombia, we will now proceed to a recorded vote on L42. We do it again by roll call. I give the floor to the Secretary.
Thank you very much, President. So now it's a roll call vote on L40. So I go slowly, clearly. Oh, sorry, L42. So delegates, please repeat when your mic is on so interpreters can hear your vote. Thank you very much. L42, let me start with Albania. No. Algeria. Yes. Bangladesh. Yes. Belgium. No. Benin. No. Bolivia. No. Brazil. No. Bulgaria. No. Burundi. Abstention. Chile. No. China. China, could you repeat?
赞成
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Colombia. No. Costa Rica. No. Côte d'Ivoire. Abstention. Cuba. Absent. Cyprus. No. Czechia. No. Democratic Republic of Congo. Abstention. Dominican Republic. Abstention. Ethiopia. Yes. France. No. Gambia. Yes. Georgia. No. Germany. No. Ghana. Yes. Indonesia.
Iceland.
Oh, sorry. I missed Iceland. No. Indonesia. Yes. Japan. No. Kenya. Yes. Kuwait. Yes. Kyrgyzstan. Abstention. Malawi. Abstention. Maldives. Yes. Marshall Islands. No. Mexico. No. Morocco. Yes. Netherlands. No. North Macedonia. No. Qatar. Yes. Republic of Korea. No. Romania. No. South Africa. No. Spain. No. Sudan. Yes. Switzerland. No. Thailand. No. Vietnam. Abstention.
The results of the recorded votes are as follows: 13 in favor, 26 against, 7 abstentions. Amendment L4 is therefore
42.
L42 is therefore rejected. A copy of the results of the votes will shortly be posted on the extranet. The Council will now proceed to take action on proposal L20 Rev 1 as orally revised. I will give the floor to members of the Council who wish to make explanations of votes before the vote on the draft resolution. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Chile.
Muchas gracias, presidente.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I am pleased everything is working. Chile wishes to express its satisfaction over the outcome of the negotiation process for the significant resolution on preventable maternal mortality and morbidity, and we would like to thank the core group comprised of Colombia, Estonia, and New Zealand for their leadership and efforts to compromise. We appreciate that this Council has protected the integrity of the text and found a balanced, inclusive, and rights-based approach. We recognize in the resolution that preventable maternal mortality and morbidity are a human rights issue, while it also highlights the need to improve preventive action, guaranteeing universal access to sexual and reproductive quality services and addressing the structural causes that perpetuate inequalities. We are also appreciative of references to health workers, to professional midwives, to indigenous peoples, and to economic, social, and environmental health determinants, as well as the call for the effective coverage of universal health coverage. We reject all type of discrimination against women, girls, and adolescents in all their diversity, and that in keeping with our feminist foreign policy. For all of these reasons, Chile endorses the consensus on this resolution, and we hope that the whole Council will do the same. Should we move to a vote, Chile will vote in favor of the resolution. Thank you.
I can inform the Council that Chile withdrew its co-sponsorship for this draft proposal as reflected in e-delegate and could therefore intervene on this text. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Ghana.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ghana supports the broad objectives of draft resolution L20 Rev 1, presented by New Zealand, Colombia, and Estonia. Ghana commends their joint effort. We particularly welcome the focus of the resolution on respectful maternal care, including midwifery models of care. We further join the calls to accelerate the elimination of preventable maternal mortality and morbidity. For us in Ghana, the elimination of preventable maternal mortality and essential services such as health infrastructure, education, and social protection are critical to addressing maternal mortality and morbidity and remains a top priority. We, however, wish to make the following point. Firstly, we reiterate our previous calls on the Council to be mindful of the prevailing international consensus regarding the right to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of physical, mental, sexual, and reproductive health. As we have said before, the right to sexual and reproductive health education is grounded in universal human rights, including the right to education and to health, as established in numerous international agreements, such as the Convention on the Rights of the Child, the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, and the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Mr. President, secondly, as a member of the African Union, Ghana has subscribed to sexual and reproductive health education policy commitment, including the 2005 protocol to the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, commonly referred to as the Maputo Protocol. Our position, however, on comprehensive sexuality education is that it must be age-appropriate, culturally sensitive, and in accordance with our national context. We are therefore deeply concerned that these important safeguards are not reflected in the present text. Furthermore, we stress that the right to bodily autonomy is neither intergovernmentally agreed nor recognized under international human rights law. Finally, my delegation wishes to stress the agreed principle that the implementation of recommendation and in resolution is the sovereign right of each country, recognizing the need to respect the various religious and ethical values as well as cultural backgrounds of people to ensure conformity with universally recognized international human rights law. With that in mind, Ghana is ready to join consensus.
Thank you. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of the Gambia.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Gambia wishes to place on record its position regarding the resolution entitled Preventable Maternal Mortality and Morbidity and Human Rights. We thank the core group of states of New Zealand, Colombia, and Estonia for their leadership and tireless efforts in advancing this important initiative. Reducing preventable maternal mortality remains both a national and global priority in view of its vital importance in promoting the health, dignity, and rights of women and girls. The Gambia strongly supports this objective and is pleased to join the consensus on this resolution. However, the Gambia has taken note of certain elements that were the subject of the proposed amendments by Algeria on behalf of the Arab group. We supported these amendments in recognition of the imperative that the text of the resolution reflect differing cultural contexts and societal values, whilst preserving our shared goal of improving maternal health and eliminating preventable deaths among women and girls. In this regard, the Gambia disassociates itself from language that seeks to broaden the concept of sexual and reproductive rights beyond the scope of internationally agreed frameworks, particularly the Beijing Platform of Action and the Program of Action of the International Conference on Population and Development. These include references to bodily autonomy and comprehensive sexuality education without regard to appropriate cultural and societal values. Furthermore, the Gambia reiterates that its understanding of the term gender refers exclusively to the biological attributes of male and female. Notwithstanding these reservations, the Gambia reaffirms its unwavering commitment to eliminating preventable maternal mortality and morbidity and to promoting the health and rights of women in line with our international obligations. Thank you.
Thank you. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Ethiopia.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ethiopia welcomes the tabling of draft resolution A/HRC/60/L20/Rev1 and extends its appreciation to the core group members for their leadership in bringing attention to the pressing issue of preventable maternal mortality and morbidity. Ethiopia recognizes maternal mortality as both a public health and human rights concern rooted in broader systemic inequalities. We reaffirm our strong commitment to eliminating preventable maternal death through inclusive, equitable, and sustainable approaches. In this regard, we support the resolution's call for greater investment in health systems, midwifery, and the protection of health workers, especially in fragile and resource-limited contexts. In recent years, Ethiopia has made notable progress in reducing maternal mortality through the expansion of primary healthcare services, the deployment of trained midwives across rural and underserved areas, and the promotion of community-based health insurance schemes. We continue to invest in health systems strengthening, particularly maternal and child health services, with an emphasis on equity, dignity, and respect for women and girls. We welcome the resolution's focus on the rights of women and girls in vulnerable situations and the need to address structural barriers to maternal health. We also commend its emphasis on international cooperation, resilient health systems, and the vital role of midwifery in achieving universal health coverage. However, Ethiopia wishes to place on record its reservation regarding specific references within the resolution, particularly those related to comprehensive sexuality education and certain formulations concerning sexual and reproductive health. While we acknowledge that these issues are part of ongoing international discourse and enjoy support from many member states, we underscore that such matters remain culturally sensitive and subject to national deliberation, societal values, and legal frameworks. Ethiopia underscores that global commitments must respect national contexts, sovereignty, and cultural values. We advocate for a balanced and inclusive approach that accommodates diverse perspectives in advancing the health, dignity, and rights of all women and girls. In conclusion, while noting our specific reservations, Ethiopia remains firmly committed to the core objectives of the resolution. In the spirit of constructive engagement and in support of the rights, dignity, and well-being of all women and girls, Ethiopia will therefore join the consensus on its adoption. I thank you.
Thank you. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Bolivia.
Gracias, señor presidente. Agradecemos a la...
Thank you, Mr. President. We would like to thank New Zealand, Colombia, and Estonia for having submitted this draft resolution to us, which addresses an extremely important topic. The protection of maternal health is crucial. Maternal mortality affects many vulnerable women living in rural zones, living in poverty, or victims of discrimination. These are women who at times do not have access to quality health services, or at times their access is very limited. Moreover, sexual and reproductive health sometimes is not accessible to all women, and the violence which they face exacerbates the problem. Internationally, therefore, it is essential to provide high-quality, accessible healthcare to all women. Bolivia, therefore, guarantees the enjoyment of the rights of sexual and reproductive health through our legislation, but the importance of comprehensive sexual education and maternal health services and combating discrimination in those services are crucial as well. And we know that there is much that remains to be done. Reproductive health is a crucial tool for the well-being of women and plays a crucial role for millions of women and young girls, as it helps us fight exclusion and discrimination. Despite the cultural specificities or the traditions of each country, we believe that we nevertheless need to adopt a joint position to ensure that no woman is left behind, especially in countries that are subjected to economic blockades. These are issues relating not only to public health, but also to human rights, requiring a multi-party and multi-stakeholder and multifaceted approach. Bolivia has therefore become a co-sponsor of this resolution and invites the Council to adopt it by consensus. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see any other request for the floor. Sorry. I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Algeria.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the Group of Arab States, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to the core group composed of Colombia, Estonia, and New Zealand for presenting the draft resolution L20 Rev 1 as orally revised. Our countries reaffirm their strong and long-standing commitment to preventing and eliminating maternal mortality and morbidity, and to fulfill the right of everyone to the enjoyment of the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. Mr. President, we acknowledge the core group's constructive engagement, which is essential for fostering mutual understanding and respect. We thank the core group for taking into account some of our proposals, mainly by including references to some particular settings that exacerbate the difficulties faced by women when it comes to accessing maternal health care services. We also welcome the references to national laws in some paragraphs with regards to states' efforts to eliminate and prevent maternal mortality and morbidity. However, we regret that the views of many delegations, including our respective delegations, were not equally reflected in the draft resolution, which retains many of the controversial language from previous iterations. In this regard, we would like to recall that language that has been subject to repeated amendments and disassociations over the years cannot be referred to as consensual nor as universally agreed language. Accordingly, the members of the Arab group, which are members of the Council, dissociate from preambular paragraphs 8, 12, 15, 18, 20, 25, and 26, as well as from operative paragraphs 1, 9, 12, 17, 18, and 19, while joining consensus on the resolution L20 Rev 1 as orally revised. This applies to the broader membership of the group. Our countries reserve the right to interpret and implement the provisions contained in the present resolution in a manner consistent with their respective national laws and with the full respect of the religious, ethical, cultural values of their societies and in line with their international human rights obligations. I thank you.
Thank you. Is there a request for a vote on L20 Rev 1 as orally revised? I see none. I take it then that draft proposal L20 Rev 1 as orally revised may be adopted without a vote. It is so decided. Thank you very much. Excellences, distingués collègues.
Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, this brings us to the end of this meeting. I would like to thank you all for your flexibility